Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's April 1st, 2017, the date we commonly call April Fool's Day. In this video, I want to show you why April Fools is truly celebrated on April 1st each year since the early 1700s. Today's ritual has everything to do with Freemasonry, as we're about to get into. So April Fool's Day, it's commonly referred to as All Fool's Day. In the language of gematria, All Fool's Day sums to 41. Kind of like 4/1 for April 1st. It's a day of practical jokes. The word joke has gematria 41. In some parts of the world, the date's written 1/4. Instead of 4/1, the word tease, gematria 14. It's a day of practical jokes, teasing, making fun. When you write out 14 as a word, it also sums to 41. There's a relationship between these two numbers. When you write out 14, it also sums to 104, kind of like 10-4, message received. Just like if you write out April Fool, what you call out when you fool somebody. A lot of us learn that as children in school, having fun with our peers. So anyway, All Fool's Day, a day of practical jokes, a day when written out in the language of gematria, having numbers that are very similar to the actual date, April 1st. 41, a lot like 4/1. 41 is the 13th prime number. The 13th prime number, very important number here in the USA. USA equals 41. Use the 21st letter. S is the 19th, A is the 1st. Add it together, 21 plus 19 plus 1, 41. 41 is the 13th prime, 13 colonies, 13 stripes on the flag. If you learn about the history of this nation, it was set up by Freemasons. And something I just read recently doing research, in every single language that has an alphabet with an M, the word for Mason begins with an M. And in the English alphabet, which is the New World Order, very Freemasonic language, in the English alphabet, M is the 13th letter. M is the 13th letter. In a calendar year, there's not 13 months. April is the closest month to the number 13 in numerology terms. That's because 13 equals 1 plus 3 is 4. So April's the 4th month. 13 has a numerology of 4. This tribute has a lot to do with 13, and 13 has a lot to do with Masonry. Very important number in Masonic symbolism and history. 13 is the number of rebellion. Freemasonry, once seen as a rebellion against the authority, which was mostly, religion. Freemasonry at the same time is a religion in itself based on the ancient mystery religions. So anyhow, April 1st, April Fool's Day, All Fool's Day. Why April 1st? It has a lot to do with 13. And making this even more interesting, April 1st is the 91st day of the calendar year. When you count 1 through 13 and add them together, it totals 91. So today's date has multiple connections to 13. 4/1, 41 the 13th prime, 91st day of the year. Do you know why the Freemasons have set up this ritual that's in tribute to them, All Fool's Day or April Fool's Day? It's because truly in this world that we live in, for we, the mainstream people, every single day really is April Fool's Day, and we are being fooled by this elite gang. This elite gang plays tricks on the world every single day, deceiving the people who don't have a clue. April 1st is the one day of the year where you sort of get a clue. But who would ever know to connect it to the Freemasons? That's why they put these teasers out in front of us, because they don't expect us to connect the dots. Freemasonry is running this world, controlling money, government, religion, entertainment, controlling the things that control the mind's eye of the masses. How many people in this world think that their government's legitimate? Elections are real. These sports games that they spend all their time on are honest competition. Every day, people being deceived by purposeful lies, organized conspiracy, that has everything to do with Freemasonry. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you how conspiracy connects to Freemason, connects to April Fool's Day, and more. But I want to talk about the calendar first, since this special tribute is on the calendar. The word calendar in Gematria sums to 58, just like Gregorian. We're on the Gregorian calendar system. Check the numerology of 58. 5 plus 8, 13. 58 connects to All Fool's Day as well. All Fool's Day has a Gematria of 58, just like Freemasonry, just like Secret Society, just like Solomon's Temple, which is what Freemason history is based in. They say Solomon's Temple had the same layout that Masonic lodges use to this day. Craftsman has Gematria of 58. The Freemasons, builders, craftsmen, an important word to them, legend of the craft, Tubal Cain. They say that modern-day Freemasonry, as it is now, is a result of Francis Bacon and the Rosicrucians, which are at the beginning of the 17th century. King James Bible, Francis Bacon, 1611. They say, or some say, it was Francis Bacon and the Rosicrucians who are truly responsible for the settling of the United States of America, which would make a lot of sense because United States equals 58. Anyway, Rosicrucian, responsible for modern Masonry. What the Rosicrucians did is they took the Christian religion and they hybridized it with all the old world esoteric knowledge. You know, the magical occult societies. In other words, the religions of the world becoming as one. Which is what's going on. This is the ongoing New World Order agenda, which is all Masonic. Rosicrucian, 58. Rosicrucian means Rose Cross. Rose Cross equals 58. How perfect. Annuit Coeptus, 58. Simon Magus, who's said to be the founder of the Gnostics, Freemasonry, based on the Rosicrucians. Rosicrucian, based on this old world knowledge, which has much to do with the Gnostics. Gnostic equals 33, the number of Freemason obsession. The beginning, Simon Magus, 58. See how this all comes together? So anyway, just a little more knowledge there on Freemasonry, numbers, 13. Let's come back up here. April Fool's Day, here's what else you need to know. April Fools in reverse ordinal sums to 147. Very special number to the Freemasons. If you want to spend the next 3 months of your life researching 147, just come to my blog and type 147 in the top left corner. So many blog posts with 147. What you'll find out is how often this number is used in rituals, from rig sports to false flag propaganda to rigged elections and more. 147 special number connected to April Fools, connected to Freemason. The Freemasons are builders. The word master builder equals 147. I'll show you what this has to do with the Bible and Tubal Cain, said to be the first Freemason. Freemasonry, responsible for the sport of American baseball. April, the month baseball kicks off. World Series, 147. Kabbalah, the Hermetic form of Kabbalism, the Jewish mysticism, which all of this goes back to. Kabbalah, 147. Conspiracy, 147. Again, every day your world has been ruled over by conspiracy, Masonic conspiracy, the whole time you've lived here, and we've all been in the dark about it. We don't know about this language of Gematria. We don't know about the significance of numbers. You know, we're lied to about everything. Our entire history is a lie, a nonsensical lie. I mean, look at what they teach us in our schools. They treat us like we're dumb from a young age. They tell us a man, Christopher Columbus, came to a land where people already live, and we say he discovered it? I mean, how does that even make sense? We're given this worldview from the imperialist mindset, from the New World Order mindset. That's the way we're taught to think from a young age, to go along with their conspiracy, to believe and not think. Conspiracy 147. Every person to travel to outer space has been a Freemason. Outer space 147. Just wait until I show you. And real quick, since we were talking about 58, we should make this point. NASA was established in 58. Freemasonry running government, running NASA, running science. Science 58, NASA established in 58. Outer space, conspiracy, all the same. Think about Washington, D.C., named after George Washington, the Freemason. The White House has 147 windows. President of the United States, 147. You got to be a Mason to be in the White House. And as for why they would do window has gematria of 74, like Masonic, like George Washington. You see? That's why they chose the window. And notice George Washington in light of the gematria of Washington, D.C. There's a fool in the White House right now, and it's all part of the show mocking we the masses. Donald Trump's GOP convention began July 18th, 18/7, exactly 187 days before Inauguration Day in Washington, D.C. You know, think about it. This year, April Fool's Day falls on a date with 42 numerology. The word Freemason also has gematria of 42. We'll see what all the headlines are by day's end. Let me show you a little something about 42 in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in 147, just to unlock some more knowledge. I've covered this in recent posts, but I want to make sure everyone knows about this. So many people know about the riddle of 42 in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy novel and film. The number has to do with outer space, the Big Bang. Let's just start here. I wanted to make that bigger. Let's see. There we go. The word math, as you can see, has gematria 42, like Big Bang, like outer space, also like Freemason. That's the beginning of the riddle in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. They let you know it has to do with the Big Bang. Notice Freemason also sums to 96. This article that we're looking at, yes, the answer to the universe really is 42, was written in 96. If you take all the numbers that divide into 42 and add them together, they sum to 96. There's a relationship between these numbers. Article about 42 and 96, Freemason numbers. It's always Freemasonry. The novel Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has gematria of 139, like Freemasonry. Big Bang also has gematria of 147. You know, like Freemason, like outer space, like conspiracy, like Kabbalah. The Hermetic form, much to do with Masonry. In the film Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, there's this phrasing, life, the universe, and everything. The answer to that statement is 42, which is what comes up by this computer called Deep Thought, made by Dr. Saunders. Deep Thought 42, Dr. Saunders. Don't panic, common phrase from the story. Anyway, the phrasing of what answers 42, life, the universe, and everything, sums to 147. April Fools. You know? This is how this gang operates. Putting a little bit of the truth out in front of us and expecting us to never connect the dots, never get it, never see what's going on. I got to tell you, truth seeker, you know, it's long overdue that this knowledge is put out for the masses. So the reason I keep working so hard to put out the word is because I keep hoping that one day this information is going to go viral and reach people. How many millions of people today will say April Fools without having a clue what it's all about and not realizing that their whole life they're played the fool by this Masonic gang? You know, this is the sick show that needs to end. In this story, it talks about, or in this article, they talk about how the universe is 16 billion years old, a number that connects to 42. Real quick, regarding 42 and the Freemasons, it's Genesis 4:22 that introduces who's said to be the first Freemason, the beginning of science, the modern man, agriculture, Tubal Cain. The Freemasons love to have a lot of humor with the name. They have golf tournaments named after him with 2 golf balls and a cane in between. Think about it. 2 balls and a cane. I think you can get the joke. But anyway, Genesis 4:22. 4 is the number of foundation. This man said to be a builder. 22 is the master number. Master builder. 22 is the master builder number, excuse me. Master builder equals 147, like Freemason. 422, 42 Freemason, the introduction of the first Freemason in the Bible, Genesis 4:22. And remember, the first printed Bibles are called 42-line Bibles, And the New Testament, the Christian portion, begins with the 42 generations to Jesus. New Testament 42. So special number, it's not a coincidence. It's Genesis 4:22 that introduces the builder who was Tubal-Cain, who's the first Freemason. Show you something about his name in 147. In the Kabbalah cipher, his name sums to 147. You know? The next Freemason introduced from the Bible is in Genesis 10:8. That's Nimrod. Look at this. Genesis 10:8 introduces Nimrod, who built the circular Tower of Babel. And in the King James Version of the Bible, the verse, Genesis 10:8, that introduces Nimrod sums to 235. Remember, the Freemason compass, the instrument of geometry to make circles? The Freemason compass, each leg is set at 23.5 degrees. 23.5. The verse that introduces Nimrod, who built the Tower of Babel, said to be the first Freemason construction project, that verse in Gematria sums to 235, and it's Genesis 10:8. Geometry 108. Circular Tower of Babel, first Freemason construction project. It's not hard to see the Freemasons wrote the Bible and are playing the world for fools, you know? Truly. I'll link all these posts if you want to read more about this stuff. You should know the word craft, important to Freemasonry, has gematria of 33, number of Freemason obsession. Legend of the Craft, where you learn about Tubal-Cain, has 77, gematria like secret society. Francis Bacon died 77 days after his birthday. I forget what else. There's a whole lot to it. I think Francis Bacon has the 77 coding. It's all in the book, though, Truth Seeker. And once it comes out, I mean, the Freemasons, their secrets that they're holding over us, mocking us, it's over. This is going to be the last April Fool's Day where the world doesn't know what's up. April Fool's 2018, a lot more people are going to know. And I look forward to looking back at this video a year from now, you know? When everyone's sharing the knowledge. So on the subject, we were talking about outer space, Freemasons. We got Elon Musk with his SpaceX, which always do their rocket launches by the numbers. On March 30th, they supposedly became the first, they made space history, launching a rocket that's already been to space. It launched again, it made it, and it returned to Earth. And they're saying they're doing this because they want to make it so that they can use vehicles to take people to space again and again. So anyway, March 30th was the date of this launch, this history. Remember, 33 is the number of Freemason obsession. 3 plus 30, March 30th date with 33 numerology. The launch was at Kennedy. Kennedy has the gematria of 33. Remember, JFK killed on 11/22. With the KV exception, Kennedy's also 42. Remember, it was JFK who dreamed up the space mission, putting a man on the moon. Also, remember, it was the pilot episode 1958 by Rod Serling of The Twilight Zone. 1958 pilot episode Twilight Zone about putting a man on the moon. 1958, the year NASA was established. Rod Serling's the writer of The Twilight Zone. The name Serling also has gematria of 84 as well as 42. 84 is funny because the Twilight Zone sums to 84, just like United States of America, just like Masonry, just like Zionism. You go back and look at episodes of The Twilight Zone, you'll see that every single episode was made with gematria in mind. It's how all of the characters are named. For example, just go back. An episode that's centered on death, decode the character names in The Twilight Zone. You're going to see that the character names sum to 38. Space, you're going to see the character names sum to 44. They do this in so many Twilight Zone episodes. They do it in all of them. And it's not just The Twilight Zone. This is what this Freemasonic gang does. They've done this in a million TV shows, a million movies. Just trying to give you some classic examples. So Kennedy launch on the 33 date. CNN's headline, SpaceX launch makes history. Gematria of 101, the 26th prime. They're taking us to school. Mason in space also have the gematria of 26. They talk about how the launch happened at what was 3:30 on the West Coast. They say it made it 22,000 miles into orbit. Again, 22, the master builder number. 147, outer space. 147, Freemason. NASA space program. It's all Freemasonry. What's up with this Falcon 9? Falcon 9. 93. Like time, like Saturn. We know that 9 also connects back to 42. Falcon 9 rocket. This happened on the 89th day of the year, March 30th. Says, and shortly after the landmark success, Musk took to Twitter to announce his next goal for SpaceX to launch a rocket twice in 24 hours. 89's the 24th prime. He makes that announcement on the 89th day of the year. They say the rocket costs about $62 million. 62, again, Mason 62, March 3rd, the 62nd day of the year, not by coincidence because the whole calendar is set up for these tributes. That's why there's only 28 days in February, so that March 3rd can be the 62nd day of the year. 3-3. So I think we covered it all, Truth Seeker. Oh yeah, SpaceX announced about 32 minutes after takeoff that the satellite had been successfully deployed. SpaceX 32, America 32. SpaceX 68, CIA 68. SpaceX, their first major accomplishment was a tribute to the Apollo mission in 68 on December 21st. Check that out. Got an older video on that. 68, big year. And in case you missed it, CIA 68, which is all about mind control, which is what pretty much everything in this nation's about. Mind control of the masses, steering them astray, lying to them, giving them propaganda, treating everyone for fools. But you know what? My message isn't to panic, to steal their line. Don't panic, Truth Seeker. We're going to get the word out, and this gang is going to be extinct. You know? This gang is going to truly be history. They coded the word history 42 like Freemason because they've been telling it, but we're going to make the Freemasons history. You know? We're going to put the knowledge out that they thought was just theirs. They're not going to be the invisible architects anymore. They're going to be the exposed architects. So April 1st, 2017, the last year the Freemasons get away with fooling the world. At least that's the motto for now, Truth Seeker. Help me get out the word. Until next time.